Hello there and welcome back to part 11 of my Godot Asteroids tutorial. In this one we're going to work on the functionality of the menu. Basically we're going to talk about scene switching and how to hook up a button to switch scenes, and we'll also add in the ability when we die to go back to this menu scene so that the game can continue. I've got the game up and running here. What we need to do is we need to actually make ourselves a brand new scene. So we've got this scene saved, this game scene saved. I'm just going to make sure that it is saved, and then I'm just going to make myself a new scene. So this scene's just going to be a simple 2D scene. You'll see it puts a node 2D at the center of the world here, and I'm just going to name this as menu, and then just immediately I'm going to save this as a menu scene. So I'm going to put it in the scenes folder obviously and click save. So I now have a menu scene that you'll see inside this scenes folder. On this menu scene we want to add things that we need, so I'm going to start by adding this canvas layer. As I mentioned in the previous video, it's a handy way to keep things organized for your canvas. The canvas layer, I'm going to add to that another child. I'm going to add a panel. This panel is kind of cool because I'll just press one button here, I'll do this layout and then full rect, and then it just fills up the whole area, and I can make things children of this panel or of the main canvas layer. So I'm not going to rename them right now. So we need a button, so I'm going to make this button a child of the panel. So I'm going to add a child node and search for button, and then I'm just going to make the button approximately the size that I want, so a nice big button, and then I'll use this layout option again to move it right into the middle of the screen. Earlier on we created the Orbitron theme. Because we don't have any text on this, we can't see that it's wrong. But if I just make this the play button, so you'll see that the, if I zoom in, the font's the old sort of default font, because we haven't changed the theme of this button to make it sync up with all the other ones. So you'll find that way down in the list. If we go all the way down to theme, and you'll see that the theme is empty, and this pre-made Orbitron theme, will just drag that on, and you'll see immediately we get the bigger and the correct Orbitron font from the theme that we made earlier in the last video. So we've got our play button. All we need to do now is hook this up to the click event so that we can jump to the next scene. The first step I'm going to need to do is I'll need to actually add a script to this menu. So I'm going to it just needs to be a node 2D, so I'm just going to hit the plus up here, and I'm going to make sure that it's not in the scenes folder. I'm just going to go up a level and find the scripts folder, and then we'll call it menu.d and put it in there. So I kind of found that out as I was doing one of these videos, so I'm quite glad I have. So it's inherited from node TD, and it's an empty script in the correct folder this time, and I'm just going to click create. Now that script is in, I'm going to go down to the button here, and we're going to hook up the button down signal to the menu. So I've selected button over here, and then just over in the inspector click on this node so that we can hook up the signal. So I'm just going to double click on button down. I'm going to choose menu, and it's going to create it on button down, which is kind of weird, and this is part of the reason why it's always good to rename these buttons to the correct thing. So I'm just going to rename this button play, and now when we create this event, the on play button down is its suggested receiver method, and that's a much nicer way of doing it. So we're going to create this on play button down in menu. You can obviously rename this to be anything that you want, so it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to rename the button. You can call it whatever you like, but you can change this receiver method so that it makes sense, and it's a good idea to make all your functions make sense and be named the way that they're the action that they're going to perform. So I'm going to connect this up, and it creates this on play button down method for me, function for me to use. So I don't really need to pass. All I really need to do is be able to load the scene that is our game scene, and it's basically just one line of code to do this. So we'll use get tree to get the tree, and then we'll just use this change scene. All the scenes that we have in our game are come up in the IntelliSense. So we're looking for the game scene, so we'll just select that. So just go all the way down to game scene, press enter, and we can remove the pass from here as well. So this is hooked up to the button. When we click the button, we'll use the game to change the scene to the game, and that's it. So I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit and just give it a quick test. So when I hit play there, previously we had set up that we wanted the main game to be the scene that we load. Because we're actually on the menu scene, if we test this scene on its own, so we play with F6 or play scene, that will load up the menu scene that we've got, and then we can hit play and it should load up the game scene. In order to change that completely, what we need to do is we need to go into our project settings, and what you're looking for inside there is the application run section, and you'll see in there is this main scene. So this is the default scene that will be loaded when you click the run, or when you build it out and the game runs, it's the default scene that gets loaded. So I'm just going to hit the little folder there so I can choose the right one, and I'm going to choose menu is my start scene. So when it's built out, or when you hit the play over here, it will load the menu before it loads anything else. So we'll just close this and make sure this menu scene is saved, and then when we hit play now, it will automatically load the menu scene before the play button should then spawn us into the main game. The last part of that is making sure that when the player actually dies, that we previously we reloaded the current scene so that we were able to just restart. But what we probably want to do is not reload the current scene, but we want to go back to the menu. I'll do it now in the simplest possible way, so I'll get rid of this get tree. I'll leave the pass in there for now. So we wanted to change scene, so we change scene and we choose the correct scene that we would like to go to. Don't know why the IntelliSense didn't come up there. Try that again. It's kind of weird that it didn't work, but if it does actually do this for you. One of the weird tips that I found is that you can actually just drag something from your resources into the into the text editor here, and it comes up. So you can actually drag menu straight into here, and it comes up with the correct name, which is kind of cool. You can do that with a few other things too. If you need to find resources. So this time the on-player area entered happens when the asteroid hits a player, and this time we'll just load the menu, so it goes straight back to the menu. We'll get this working, and then I'll show you one slight improvement on this. So when I hit play and I get hit by an asteroid, wherever the asteroid's going to go, then, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed the asteroid. There we go. So it goes back to the menu. The sad thing is it went back almost instantly, which doesn't give us the opportunity to kind of like see our score or to have particle systems or anything happen in our scene. So I'm just going to quickly add a timer to the player so that we're able to go straight to this menu after maybe 2 or 3 seconds. That's a really good idea if the way we do this, lots of different ways to do this, but the way we do it, it'd be a good idea if the player could tell the game that it's been killed. That way we'll be able to destroy the player when they are killed, and we won't need to put the timer on the player. We could do it by putting a timer on the player and just hiding the sprite in the collision polygon, but I feel like it's better if we do it this way. So what I'm going to do on the player script is I'm going to open up that player script, and then we're going to create a custom signal. We've done this in previous ones. We're just going to say signal, and we'll say player killed, and save that. And then when we are killed, rather than immediately change the scene to the menu, what we'll do is we'll emit this signal. So we'll emit signal player killed. Then it's up to us to hook this signal. Get rid of that one. It's up to hook the signal up to up to the main game, and then the game can be in charge of when it restarts. So I'm just going to select the player here and go over to the node tab, and you'll see that we have our custom signal player killed. I'm going to connect this up to the main game, so I'll just click on game, and it says on player killed, so I think it will need one player in there, so I'll just change that name right here, and we'll connect it up. So we see this on player killed method right now. What we want this to do is we want to start a timer rather than do anything else, so that the oh yeah, before we do that, we should probably get rid of the player too. So in the player script, if we go back to that for a second, this on player area entered, we're going to emit the signal player killed, and then what we want to do is just delete the player, so we'll use queue_free to do that. So that player will then disappear from the scene. We'll go back to the game script again right now. So if we see this on player killed, what we want to do is start that timer. So let's make that timer. So it's on the game, and I'm going to add a child node, and just going to search for timer. We'll add that timer, and I'm going to call this timer restart. How about that? The restart timer, if I look back in the inspector, will set its wait time to 1 second. We'll leave that as it is, and everything else is default, so it's not one shot and it's not auto start. So the back to the game script here, we want to drill down and find that restart timer and make it go. So we'll just use the $ again and drill down, and we called it restart, so we should be able to find it. So restart dot start, and the if I can spell that correctly, the start method will just start that timer. We can remove the pass as well. The timer starting is only one step towards getting this right. What we want to do is, if I select this restart timer over here, we want to hook up this timeout to something so that actually loads the menu scene. So I'm just going to double click on that and choose the game, and it says it's given us a default method name of on restart timeout, so sure, we'll connect that up. So this is still in the game script, and this is basically going to happen 1 second after the player has been killed, because that's when we started the timer. And from there, this is where we're actually going to load the menu scene. So we'll use get tree, and we'll use the change scene, and we will use the menu. So hopefully, I'll remove the pass again. Hopefully, if we test this, this should all work. So we start off with the menu, we hit play. I'm just going to try and die. I'm not very good at that, so I'm going to hit that one thing. You see 1 second later, after the player gets killed, the menu pops back up again. So that's kind of what we want. It gives us a chance to add in some particle systems and explosions, and we can change that 1 second to any value that we like. So the last major things to do is this particles and rocks. Hopefully we've done already 11 tutorials. It's pretty long, so well done for sticking with it. If you've got this far, you've got pretty much a fully functional game and a menu. I'm going to add in 1 or 2 more videos as well, just for these last little polish elements. Hopefully you're enjoying the series, and please stick with it. I'll see you in the next one.